Hi, I'm attorney Greg Dell, joined today by attorney Cesar Gavidia. And in today's disability benefit tip, we're going to talk about the standard long-term disability insurance company and long-term disability denials and what steps that a claimant who's been denied should immediately take in order to begin the road towards getting their benefits reinstated. So Cesar, Standard is they're one of the top 10 largest group disability insurance companies in the country, and you've handled a couple thousand cases and reviewed denial letters extensively from them. And what's the most important first step that you have to take when a claimant contacts you and says, I've been denied by the Standard?
Yeah. Well, the very first thing you really have to possess and have in your hands is that denial letter, okay? The letter basically explaining and describing all the reasons you've been denied. Without that, it's going to be really difficult to properly address and respond when they say you're not eligible for benefits, okay? So that's the very first thing you need is that denial letter.
And let's talk about the Standard's typical denial letter as compared to other companies. What is usually in there, and how important is it to interpret and then respond to that denial letter?
So you're going to find that they're going to have any policy language that they relied on to deny your claim. So if you're seeking your total disability benefits, they're going to have a description of the definition of total disability. If you're not eligible for if they're saying you're not eligible for any gainful occupation benefits, or you're not eligible for that transition to any gainful occupation, they should describe what any gainful occupation means and provide that language. The denial letter should also go into detail about the reasons that you're not eligible, they find you're not eligible for benefits. Okay, so if they relied on an opinion from a physician, consultant, or some nurse, or if they did some sort of vocational assessment that says that you can perform a number of occupations, well, that denial letter needs to describe the opinion related by that person, by that medical expert or that vocational person. It's got to also provide you with information as to how to perfect your claim, how to appeal, all right, and the time frame in which you have to appeal that decision.
And Standard usually writes one of the longer denial letters of most companies, whereas many we see 2 or 3 cookie cutter pages. We could see 8, 9, or 10 pages from the Standard with a little bit more detail, which in a way can be helpful for a claimant because we know how to dial in more in terms of what they may be misinterpreting or what additional information they need, and that's a benefit as opposed to the companies who do these general denial letters where they're just kind of nonsense and you don't know exactly what they want or which angle they're going to take. But beyond the denial letter, the claim file or administrative record is absolutely essential. What is it, and what should a person expect when getting the claim file?
Well, first, the claim file, the administrative record, is possessed by Standard, okay? They don't have to release it to you unless you request it in writing. So it's really important that once you've been informed that you've been denied and you receive that denial letter, that you get that claim file and that administrative file before you begin your appeal. It's going to contain all of the documentation, all of the information, basically everything that Standard had within its possession when it made that decision. So if they went to a medical consultant for an opinion on your restrictions and limitations, then it's got to contain that report. It's got to contain the correspondence and dialogue between the claim personnel and that physician consultant. If you had an IME, an independent medical exam that you attended, it's got to provide you with that same information, the dialogue between Standard and that IME, the questions that Standard posed to that IME, and the responses by that IME. Okay, oftentimes you see this back and forth. And you see this kind of influence by Standard's physicians to this independent medical examiner. And then you say to yourself, well, no wonder they denied me. I mean, look at this influence that is being basically pressed onto this IME, and this is completely leading me into a denial of my benefits. So it's important that you have that information in your hands before you make the decision to appeal the claim.
So you get a copy of the denial letter, the claim file, hopefully the policy should be in there, and then you sit down and analyze all those things. And what I always tell claimants, just to get the ball rolling for them, because there's a lot at stake for a claimant when their benefits have been denied. They have no income coming in, and that needs to be replaced as soon as possible if they're eligible, is to go ahead and contact us, whether it's you, me, any of the lawyers on our team, no matter where the claimant lives in the country, and we're going to provide an initial free consultation as soon as you can get us a copy of that denial letter. Upon review of that denial letter, we'll have an immediate free phone consultation. We'll be able to let you know what we think your chances of success are, what our plan of attack would be, how much time it's going to take, and other strategies that we would put in place based upon what the denial letter says. Now, that will be preliminarily, and that would be enough to get the ball rolling, but really it's going to come down to analyzing that claim file, which takes quite a bit of time because it's often hundreds of pages to thousands of pages, and from there, after seeing all the medical records, then we can really formalize the plan. And super important to do this right out of the box, because often with standard you only get one chance to do this right, and if you don't do it right, and if you do your appeal on your own and contact us later, which certainly any claimant can do, we're married to that appeal and what that record is, and we can't supplement anything later. So at least we welcome you to contact us so we can review it, let you know what we think, and really give you the best chance possible to have your long-term disability benefits reinstated by the standard. Thank you for considering us.